Here's an example of micro-targeting using the power of community and the United States Postal Service versus mass distribution and the true costs involved. Let's say that a jeweler who specializes in engagement rings meets with a cost per thousand focused seller. He wows the jeweler by telling him that he can give him an audience of 100,000 people for only $1,000. The jeweler grabs the great cost per thousand, only to find out that the ad goes to retired people living out of the country, out of state, or at the closest 2 counties away. Then along comes a different advertising solution. This gentleman openly shares that his price is 2 times higher and that he can only get the jeweler in front of 500 people, or 0.5% of the previous rep. Sounds like a bad idea, until the rep explains that all of the 500 are men who are earning over $150,000 per year and are about to propose to their girlfriends within the next 30 days. Now that ad campaign is a sure hit, reaching his prime market. Here is how First Team Media is different. We all know that traditional newspapers have died. Radio, cable, regional and citywide magazines all splash a message that is much too far out to target anyone effectively. We provide high-end, glossy magazines to specifically targeted high schools, specialty organizations, and neighborhoods. We then feature a student athlete on the cover of each monthly magazine, making it irresistible. In fact, several independent neighborhoods surveyed the readers, showing that 89.4% of the people who receive the magazine open it up and read it. First Team Media provides magazines by the people, about the people, and for the people. So it's inevitable that the people love them. And that's the key for you as a sponsor. But what really gives it its power is the micro-targeting. Here's another example. A company boasts their distribution of 60,000 papers, so an advertiser thinks, wow, $16 per 1,000 readers. Then he researches his client base and learns that, like many businesses, 80% of his customers actually come from within a radius of 5 miles or less. He then finds out that only 5% of the papers are actually dropped off within his 5-mile radius. Then he learns that only 20% of those are in fact picked up. So his cost, from a practical perspective, is not $16 per 1,000, but actually $1,000. He begins to realize why that never really worked for him. Some companies turn to direct mail to get their message across. After designing, printing, and stamping their message, they have spent somewhere between 50 cents and $6 per mailing. Using a lower-end example of $1 per mailing, a company trying to micro-target an affluent neighborhood of 1,000 homes spends $1,000 and gets a response rate typically between 0.25% to 1.5%. But if they put that same ad into one of our magazines, they would get multiple deliveries and 89% are read. A recent J.D. Power survey found that magazines are the second most desired way for consumers to receive their advertising, way beyond the internet and mobile apps. In fact, magazines are desired just behind television commercials. First Team Media offers monthly publications with varied content that brings the reader back to the magazine as many as 5.5 times per month. Whether it's for the cover story and feature articles, the real estate listings, or the team schedules, the magazine acts as a guide for the month and repeats your message. We know how to reach the residents that need your services and purchase your goods, making us a very powerful yet affordable way to reach the audience you want. First Team Media, connecting neighborhoods.